Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff. Hey guys, I'm Maureen.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Eve.
And we are back with our This Is Us, and the resident is back this week. So that's this episode. We're talking This Is Us season 6, episode 10. Oh, that makes me sad that it's episode 10 of the final chapter, the final season.
It's getting too close.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
How many episodes are there total? I know we say this every freaking time. We go through this every time.
I want to say 18, but I don't know.
I'd prefer not to know, so that way I don't have that impending doom.
Oh, I see.
That backfired on me once. I was watching Sanditon, and I was missed a couple episodes so I could stream them online. And I got to the final episode. I went to hit play on the next one. I'm like, wait, what? What? No. What do you mean no? No, it's not done yet. So that backfires sometimes.
I was gonna say you're gonna be sitting there one Tuesday night and just This Is Us doesn't come on.
It's gonna be a bummer. Well, I watched it on Wednesdays, so
I watch it on Thursdays.
Well, this week was the final of the trilogy, which I'm also kind of glad about because I did like getting the individual, but I missed the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
So it was all Randall all day this week.
It was. I mean, not even like Beth and Randall. It was just a Randall. It was a Randall heavy episode, and I loved it. I'm here for it. I did not think I was going to love this one as much.
Me too. I was surprised.
Yeah, I was watching and I was like, I cannot believe this is the 1 week where I'm doing the podcast. This is excellent. I loved it.
I think we talked about it in either Kevin or Kate's where we're like, where was Randall? Like they're in the whole pool because he wasn't with the family at all that we saw. And so I liked seeing this week why we didn't see him, where he was. Because I was curious about that.
Yeah, well, in Kate and Kevin's stories, they showed like Rebecca, just smiling and waving at Randall. But then the whole time I'm like, what is he doing? Is he just swimming around?
That's what I thought. I was really glad to know he was with an adult.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that because I legitimately thought that he was swimming over there all by himself. And I was like, that seems really irresponsible of Rebecca.
Why are they so concentrated on these other two kids and Randall's just down there?
All by himself. Around in the deep end by himself.
Oh man.
It's made worse when you know that they're all the same age and Kevin clearly can't swim in the deep end and Kate can't get her face in the water. And then you're just like, we have to just hope for the best that Randall can actually do something in the water.
Failing miserably at the pool.
I will say though that I like that we could see his character develop from that stage. Because when he kept turning around to watch his mom and his dad with the other kids respectively. And the look on his face. I mean, these kids are good actors.
They are.
I don't think I can act that well, and I'm much older than they are.
They are.
Like
They're
the look
amazing.
on his face when he looks back at his mom, and then there's another time he looks back on his face and he looks at his dad, and that scene where at the end he's like, "Will you swim with me?" Oh, we're all tired, and he gets them all in the water. Like that's just been ingrained in Randall's personality that he just takes care of things, but he still has that sadness that it feels like it's all on him, or like it's all about the other kids.
That was nice to see him getting to the deep end.
Yeah.
I loved it, but also speaking still of the pool, teenage Randall and Kevin and Kate. I loved their little story this week.
I did, yeah.
I mean, that's something we don't get to see very often is them teenage years getting along. They were always at each other's throat, and this week it was nice to see them. Yeah, I mean, they fought a little bit, but it was nice to see them get along for the most part.
I like when the cop was like, "Is that beer?" And Kevin very clearly threw it. No.
Nope.
And then when he's handing to him, he's like, "It is beer." I'm pretty sure he was aware of that.
It was just so much fun to watch because I watched was it Hannah, Niles, and Logan, right?
Yeah.
Is
I
Logan Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like watching them on screen, I'm like, these people could 100% be siblings.
Yes.
I totally buy it. So it was just really lovely to watch because I'm like, this is how, this is how, siblings who get along decently, like this is how they are. Like it was just really fun to watch.
It was. It was.
And it was really nice to see Randall take care of them even then. And like you see it in previous episodes as they're grown up that they all kind of have this perception of Randall. He never cared about them. But you get these glimpses into Randall from when they're younger, when he is protecting them. And not only did he say that to the cop to get them out of trouble, but even in the diner when they're like, what did you say? He made up a story so he didn't make them feel bad about it. So he's protecting him in multiple ways for one instance.
Yeah. I mean, and he's having this night and this experience with his siblings, and he's calling Rebecca just to check on her. It was just such a Randall.
Give her those smiley face cookies.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
I wanted one of those cookies. They look good.
I will say this episode almost made me cry. And I
it
don't
didn't
cry
make me
when
cry.
This Is
Well,
Us.
no, that's not true. There was a part where I did almost cry.
I mean, just seeing, we're going to talk about them a little bit later, but just seeing the parts of Randall and Rebecca this week, like the flashbacks of her just thinking about him younger, and like when they're on the phone with each other, just, I don't know, sometimes I forget how their relationship was or is, because she's in LA now and he's they're not together all the time anymore, so I kind of forget that they were that close are that close.
And it's hard to forget too that she hasn't even been in LA for that long. Like she was previously with Randall, like always.
And I always do forget that. And it was nice kind of getting that a little bit of a reminder this week.
And it makes that breakdown that he had in season 1 that I can't believe you didn't cry when he had that emotional breakdown. Like I can't believe that. Sterling Brown like mastered that scene. Do you remember that scene?
No, I do. He's sitting on his office floor. I mean, it was more of a scene where I was just like concerned, but I didn't cry.
Oh, nope, I cried.
Yeah, and I felt so deeply for him.
I only cried when Kevin lost the necklace.
Oh, that was a really bad scene.
And he's talking to her from the front yard, and I'm just like, give it back.
That was so bad. But with Randall, like seeing this glimpse of him this week, like, because you know that he bottles a lot of stuff up. You know that. You know that by watching. I mean, we're watching the show for 6 years. We know he bottles stuff up. It's a reoccurring theme. But this week, we really got to see why he has bottled all that stuff up. You saw it when Rebecca said, I know that you took to it faster than your brothers and sisters. I had this dream of us doing it as a family, maybe next year. And with him being the only one who could swim, saying I had this dream of us doing it as a family, kind of puts it on Randall's shoulders. And then when Jack dies and Randall's still there, it still puts it on his shoulders again. And then when he calls Rebecca to talk about Kate told me Miguel left, I look in the side pocket, I brought you these. Like it's because he's always had, or he didn't, I don't think he had to necessarily, but I think he felt the vacuum, and he is so compassionate. I think we forget how compassionate Randall is, that he, even as a child, automatically stepped into that role. The reason he slapped them to play tag was because he could see that they were all upset, and he didn't like that they were upset. And it's so seeing this week, I think really made all the previous episodes we've seen where Randall is stressed out, overthinking things, over panicked, over upset. This makes sense. It made it all tie in and make sense this week.
Absolutely. You really did see it.
Because we've seen for a long time that Randall was always the one who took it upon himself to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, well, why? Well, like, it's sweet of him that he's taking care of everyone, but why does he feel so compelled to take care of everyone? And then this episode, I was like, aha.
Yeah.
This is it. I get it. It's a childhood thing. It's, it runs deep. It started long before Jack died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, it did. And I feel like it got worse after Jack died.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I didn't even remember that he like went to college that close to Rebecca either. And
I forgot
now
about
that
too.
whenever they said it, I was like, oh yeah, like it came back. When I said, I was like, oh yeah, he did. Because you always think about Kate was around because she lived there. So we always see Kate with Rebecca. We don't really see Randall with Rebecca during like the college years.
Yeah.
So I don't even think about him being that close, but he did stay that close so he could take care of her when he needed to, which is
he's always felt an insane need to be available in case anyone ever needed him.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, when you think about it, that's kind of sad that he's felt that he had to live this way. I think he's the main reason that Rebecca said in that episode before the trilogy that you will not stop your lives for me. I think he is the main reason she said that.
Yeah.
Because he's never fully lived for himself. Yeah, he's like being the senator or being the councilman. Those are things that he wanted to do. But even in that, it was about other people.
Yeah.
And this, I think this week really, really highlighted that for Randall. It's always been about being there in case he's ever needed.
Yeah, he spent a lot of his life giving his everything into taking care of other people. And, you know, Rebecca knows that better than anybody. Yeah. Which, so I loved how she explained it to him, why she didn't pick him. Yeah. And obviously I knew she must have had a reason for picking Kate, but it was really nice to hear her, you know, explain to him, this is why I didn't pick you, because, you know, I know you'll drop everything and take care of me, and I don't want that for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved hearing her explanation. I knew Rebecca was going to have a good explanation for that. And I thought it could be around that, but I like that we got a pretty quick answer. Yeah. Like we didn't have to like wait till the end to get this answer of why, like she just put it out there. And I think she's absolutely right. And I think Kate is the perfect person. I think I think Kevin and Randall are both too emotional. Kate was a daddy's girl, you know.
But I think that Kate also would adhere to Rebecca's wishes more, whereas Randall would do whatever it takes to keep her alive no matter what.
And Kevin would probably have a breakdown. So I think Kate was the absolute right choice. Yeah.
And what mother wants to spend the last, you know, remaining good year she has left watching her children, watching her son give up his entire life just for her? She doesn't, that's exactly what she doesn't want. So
and I love that she said that's the natural order of things for parents and children, because it is. When your parents get old enough, children take care of their parents as the parents took care of them when they were younger. And I like that she said, but not that early.
Yeah.
It was needed. There was one petty part. Randall does this every once in a while. It annoys me, mostly because in all the ways Randall's so awesome. So when he comes out and he's petty, it irritates me. I don't like it. I expect him to be good always.
But you know, Kate has to do a heck of a lot more for us to hate her, because she's petty all the time. But from Randall.
So when he did this before, like when he was trying to get his mom at that trial, and he told his mom, "You owe me this." Like I was like, "Come on now, that is out of line, sir." And when he said to Rebecca, "Well, why don't we ask Kate, because she's in charge of everything now, right?" Like, come on, man.
I was like, "What are we, like 6? Come on!"
And not only is that petty, but you're guilting your mother about the choices she's making about the end of her life. So like there are moments when Randall feels like an ownership when it comes to Rebecca because of all the ways he's been there. And I think that's the other reason she didn't choose him, because that can be a problem. She's not yours. She's your mother, but she's also her own person. And Randall sometimes can take that ownership, and he gets really salty if anyone else is included in that.
Yeah.
He would have just completely run off with all that responsibility. Forget what Rebecca wants.
Yeah, that is what he would have done too. So I think that tendency, I think that's really Randall's only flaw. And he's human, he has other flaws. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I just mean like as a human being, he's generally, not that he doesn't have problems, not that he doesn't have things he needs to work on, but he's generally just such a good human being that these things, it seems out of character. And when that happened, because it happened in the beginning of the episode, I was ready to be mad at him the whole episode.
I know.
And I obviously wasn't mad at him the whole episode.
I'm so glad I wasn't mad at him the whole episode because he was annoying the crap out of me the way he was snipping at Rebecca. I was like, excuse you, she's still your mother.
Yes.
Yeah. Anytime any of the kids are mean to Rebecca, I always get so defensive.
I get
like,
really,
excuse me.
Yeah, exactly.
I get super uncomfortable because I'm 34 years old. If I ever spoke to my mother that way, like I would be dead meat.
Yeah. And I like too that Rebecca, like in the midst of that, she just is not gonna let him get away with it. And she doesn't rise to it. She understands why Randall's snapping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we're going, let's go.
I love it.
Like, I'm going with you.
I'm going to go with you.
Like, no, you're not. Miguel, go get my bags. I'm coming.
That was my favorite part. Miguel, go get my bags.
Like, okay. It's like your mom says I'm coming with you. Miguel, go get my bags. You say yes, ma'am, and you get in the car.
He was, what?
I didn't know what to do with himself for them.
I love that road trip so much.
Yeah.
That was my absolute favorite part. Oh my God.
I loved her all her, I loved especially all her memories that just kept flashing back to. That was so nice to see. That's the part that really kind of choked me up. It's just like when they're brushing their teeth and she's thinking back to when they were little and he was brushing his teeth and you're just like, oh, and she's talking about the gray hair in his beard. Just all those little bitty things. This episode really just made it stand out from Kevin and Kate's episodes, to be honest.
And I feel like on any other show, doing scenes like that, cutting back to when he was little and they're brushing their teeth together, like any other show trying to do that, I feel like it would look too cheesy. But This Is Us does it just so perfectly where it's just, you just go, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And definitely. I like that she knows exactly, like we talk a lot about, obviously we're going to talk a lot about this episode of how much Randall did for Rebecca, how much he was there for Rebecca, how much he took care of his siblings. But Rebecca knows exactly what Randall needs. And what he needs is the specifics because he needs to feel heard and seen and loved. And so when they were in the diner, that was my favorite part. When she's like, last time I saw you do that was at, what was it, Eaton Park. Park Sit. It's all the same thing. We should name a restaurant Eaton Sit.
No, we should not.
My mom's family is originally from Pittsburgh.
Oh, is it a real restaurant?
They knew of the restaurant. Yeah, my uncle sent a message in the chat. He was like, oh, shout out to Eaton Park. And my mom and my aunt got so excited. And
oh, wow.
I had no clue what they were talking about.
I thought it was a made up thing. I didn't know it was real. That's neat.
Oh,
I would have thought it was made up too, but like my uncle was really excited to hear about it.
Kudos, Dan Fogelman. Good job.
Yeah.
But she called out those specifics and you saw the face of Randall completely transform.
Yeah.
And then she started talking about, hey, we did this every Friday and then we did this and then we did this. And so the fact that she remembered, I think really validated Randall in a way that I think he needed it after Kate was announced as the executor.
Yeah.
Because I think he was feeling, well, I'm not good enough because that's automatically where Randall's head always goes. Anytime anyone's chosen over him is he's deficient in some way. He's lacking somehow.
Absolutely. That's exactly.
Not that she owed him anything after the way he snapped at her, but she's Rebecca.
She's a mother. And when they walked into that bar, like I could smell it.
Oh,
like she's like,
couldn't you?
Yeah. And she's like, oh, this floor is kind of sticky. Like, oh.
Oh gosh, Randall's comment made me cringe.
What did he say? Something like, I don't even want to understand why it's like that. Yeah, substances. That's what he said.
I was like, ew.
And like you could almost like get the sensation of your feet, of the bottom of your shoes sticking to that floor. Like I was so grossed out the entire time they were walking in there.
That smelled like stale beer and cigarettes.
Yep.
And you know it.
100%.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, really? This is the place where Rebecca wants to go to spend time with her son? But it
get a fancy glass of wine.
Yeah, she ordered that fancy glass of wine. I was like, I'm 100 million% sure that they do not have that wine there.
We have red and white, and they're both warm. Or they're both room
Both room
temperature.
temperature.
But he came back with a bon appetit. Yeah, a little fancy.
Oh god.
That was
I love
hilarious. But how sweet was it? The reason why she ordered that
Mhm.
wine, because
And
she's
again,
carrying around the magazine or article.
exactly what Randall needed. And I think it spoke to him not only that, but that she was reading the book that he was reading, that she
Yeah.
actually had it. It wasn't like she couldn't have just gone on 5 minutes ago and bought that book. Like she had been reading that book because
Mhm.
he was reading that book. I
Yep.
love how she, and you're right, Randall was petty, but Rebecca loved him in just the most beautiful way, in the exact way that Randall needed to be loved.
Absolutely. Gosh, I love their relationship.
Mhm.
And I love that she just had all that in her purse. That made me.
That's a good
But
mom.
to kind of go off of that, I want to know what's in those boxes.
I do too.
Like, do you think that's what we'll see?
I think we'll see little bits and pieces of it leading up to it. Now that we know they're there, I think they're going to go back to him a couple times.
You know,
Yeah.
seeing Rebecca, with the boxes at the end of Randall's episode, it kind of made me wish a little that we'd seen that same,
Yeah.
like a similar scene throughout Kate and
I agree.
Kevin also.
But I think with Kevin and Kate, it wasn't very heavy Rebecca,
Mhm.
where Randall's was all Rebecca.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we only saw it. But I would have, like you said, I would have liked to see, something at the end.
I think that with the boxes too, like we see her put his, because the only one we see her put in the box is the signed paper, right?
Yeah.
We don't see Kevin's opened up. We don't see Kate's opened up. But then we also get the glimpse of the other magazine article in the future where it's
Mhm.
Rising Star Randall.
Yeah.
And then tonight, or not tonight, in this week's episode, we hear him talking about being a senator. So
Yep.
I like how they tied all of that in very nicely.
In
They
true
did.
This Is Us fashion.
Of course.
And Rebecca's immediate response, "You're gonna be a senator."
I loved her response.
There's no doubt.
That was such a mom response. Like, "You're gonna be a senator." I was like, hold on, Rebecca. He has to like run and everything.
But Randall said, "Can I tell you something obnoxious that I can't tell anybody else? If I run, I'll win."
Don't you
I
love that confidence, man?
I do kind of like that, yeah. On anybody else, like if Kevin would have said it, I'd be like, "Dude, pull back." But Randall said
Kevin
it,
said it, yeah.
because it's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's he knows he's good enough for it, and he
Yeah.
can do it. So I kind of like that. That was pretty awesome. That's pretty attractive.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was. It really was. I'm right there with you.
Okay, so all along they're sitting there having a great time, and in the meantime, I'm like, what is he going to do when they finally get to their destination? Like, are we going to have a big confrontation with, is he going to do his Randall thing and get up in Malik's space? Like, what is going to happen?
We almost forget that they're on this because they're going to get Deja.
Yeah,
Right?
like Deja called at the end. I was like, oh yeah, that's why they're on this. I thought they were just having a grand old time on a road trip. Like,
And we did not mention yet that Rebecca got him to stay overnight and not go straight there. That was the big deal to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, man, he just listened to Mama like that.
I was surprised he listened to her, actually.
I
thought
think
he was
she
gonna be like,
was-
"I can't do that, Mom," and I thought he was gonna go.
at that point,
I
though,
thought that he didn't.
I feel like they had so many great moments leading
Yeah,
up to
that's true.
that he was more inclined to say, okay, Mom, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
stay
true.
there.
Because she was bringing up all those memories, and Beth called Randall in the midst of a memory that she was telling him. So I mean, it does make sense. But I
Yeah.
don't like. I get the rationale behind that. If my 17-year-old daughter ran and I knew where she was, I don't know if I would be courageous enough to wait.
I think
I would like to say I could be, but I don't know that I could be.
the only reason he honestly agreed to wait overnight is because Deja called Beth and said that, she was there, she was okay. They at least got that, like, okay, she's We know where she is. We know she got there okay. And Randall's going to go pick her up, so they don't have to worry about her coming home. At least they know she's okay where she is. I mean, they know she's okay, at least with Malik. I feel like she's not going to, I mean.
Malik's a good guy. It's not like she was
Yeah.
running her drug dealer boyfriend or something.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that
and she wants all this freedom.
Lied and went there, they knew what happened. So I mean, that would make me be like, okay, I know where you are, and I don't really like where you are.
No, but Rebecca was right. I mean, Deja and Malik figured it out.
I think that, and I brought this up the last time Deja was on, when she said that's going to be a problem. Stop treating her like a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
Stop it. She's not. I think it was the right choice to wait, because honestly, if I were to do that, it probably would have done more damage, because I would be upset. I would be angry. I'd go there with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And I probably would need to calm down before I see my kid. The damage has already been done. I know where she's at. Whatever damage is going to be done has already been done.
Yeah.
So going in there half-cocked isn't going to do anything. So it was the right choice to wait. But I wish they would stop treating her like a full-grown adult. Because I understand she's been through harder times. I understand that she had a hard life growing up, but your job is to cultivate a different lifestyle for her, to raise her, to love her, and let her experience being a teenager instead of having her be forced into adulthood, which is what she was before. Mm-hmm. And it really bums me out that that's their parenting strategy. Is she's old enough to know her own mind. She can do, she should have all this. No, she shouldn't. So when Randall actually said to her in the cabin before she left, and he said, and that was a heartbreaking scene.
Oh, wasn't it?
That was and that was the first time that where Randall actually stood up and was like, no, you're a kid. And I loved that.
Yeah.
I was really appreciative of that. And he said, this is not gonna, but I think he came at it with, you deserve better, which is true. I wish it would have been, you're a kid and you're my kid, and that's why you can't. When he said to her, you're my daughter, and she said, no, I'm not. Like, I just, oh
God.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for Randall, who is adopted, who's already been told, my biological child is going to take over after me. You know, that was a thought in Randall's head at some point. You know that that's what he thought at some point. And for Deja to come at him and say that in that moment, like, it just, I felt so bad for Randall. And even Beth, like, the look on her face, I think it's the first time I've ever seen Beth not control the situation. Like, she had no idea what to do from there.
And with Rebecca and Miguel sitting behind him,
mm-hmm.
I think I stopped breathing for a couple seconds. I was like, she said what now?
I felt so bad for him.
I would have been more mad. Like, I think I would have been, I don't know if I'd be more mad or more embarrassed that my child talked to me like that. You know, it'd be such a mix of anger, disappointment, embarrassment,
sadness.
I think it would just be crushing.
I mean, that was a really,
and she didn't just say, no, you're not. She said, you're just the guy who took me away from my mom.
That was the part that I went,
oh yeah, like that had to be crushing for Randall. Crushing. I felt so bad.
I mean,
and yet again, like when he was petty to Rebecca, and Rebecca still went, she said all this stuff, and I love when he came to him. He said, "Where's she, Tess? I don't want you to get mad." Oh, I'm past there.
I love that part too. I'm past that.
He is her father, whether she likes it or not. He is her father. So Deja did have that redeeming moment in the car, and I was kind of surprised that Randall kept his mouth shut the whole time.
He didn't say a word, and I'm glad he didn't.
Yeah, because I think that he understood that she knew the gravity of her action. I don't think she fully grasped it. I think she still thinks that she would have done it no matter what. But I think that he was heartbroken enough that he wanted her to say the right things without him having to say it to her first. Mm-hmm. And so when she said, "You are my dad. You're the only one I've ever had," like that, I was. Oh. And then Randall cried. How can you not get emotional when Sterling K. Brown cries? Like, you at least had to have a feeling there. Even if you didn't cry, you had to feel something.
I said all.
Oh.
I have feelings. I just don't really cry.
You have to, like, your heartstrings have to be pulled when you see Sterling Brown cry.
It doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't
good
do it
at
for
it.
Me. Mm-mm.
Amanda has to be now.
Well, I think he does sad really, really well.
I mean, yeah, he's a phenomenal actor. He really is. I don't know. It just stoic. I say it every episode. I will cry at a beer commercial, but I will not cry on This
So
Is
what part
Us.
made you almost cry?
It did. When they kept flashing back.
Oh,
Like when they were brushing their teeth is the main part, and they're standing in that mirror. I don't know why.
that's the part that almost made you cry.
Yes. I
This
did
is
cry.
This Is Us needs to invest in some beer commercials and make a man.
That's gonna be Kevin's next job.
Hey, some of those beer commercials are really emotional.
I don't think I've ever cried at a beer commercial.
I'll send you some.
Hallmark, maybe. Beer commercial? No. But even what Randall said to Malik, I thought was really, really impressive. And Malik, I don't want to see Malik as a full-grown adult either. He's closer to it than Deja is. I mean, he's living on his own. He's a father. He's going to college. He's got his own place. He's outside of his parents. So he does have to be more of an adult because he is on his own fully. And I think that I'm impressed with his character. And
yeah,
part of me doesn't want to be because I'm mad at him.
I
thought
he was really
character.
adult this week. I mean, he said, I'm not making this decision because of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, when he said that, I was like, oh,
yeah.
Like, I didn't expect him to say something like that to Randall. I mean, it wasn't a horrible thing he said.
No, I kind of did because that's kind of what he said to him on the stoop too.
I don't know. Whenever he broke up with her, I was just like, oh, Randall got to him. I thought it was
I did
Randall.
think Randall got to him though.
Yeah,
but I think
exactly.
I think Randall did in that he realized it was best for her.
And I really did think that Randall was going to somehow say it was okay for them to stay together, just not live together. I was expecting him to crumble, and I'm kind of proud that nobody said it would be okay. Everyone said this is what needs to happen.
Yeah. And even Malik said it wouldn't be fair to her and it wouldn't be fair to me.
Yeah. And I love that he included himself.
Mm-hmm. And I think that Randall Malik's conversation was one of my favorite parts of the episode. I mean, obviously all Rebecca Randall stuff does, but I think that was one of my favorite parts because it really showed the type of men that they are. And I would consider Malik a man.
I mean, Deja and Malik have to end up together, right?
I think they have to be endgame because here's my thing: you can't hook us into like they were doing with Kevin and all these women. You can't hook us into these relationships and keep us there all season for multiple seasons, and then be like right before the end, nope, all done.
They're doing it too much.
I will come at you.
We already know they're doing it to one. Now we don't know who Kevin's with, and then
we're not talking about
Kevin. You're pulling Malik away.
We're not talking all of them.
Stop. Dan, we need a word.
We do. Let's sidebar. Come on now. I'll leave all my weaponry at home. To be clear, viewers and listeners, I'm not actually threatening Dan Fogelman. I don't want FBI to show up at my house. I'm genuinely not threatening anybody. All in jest. I have cancer.
Cancer card.
But seriously, I think that they should be endgame. I'm kind of hoping that he is the father of Deja's baby in the future. I'm kind of hoping that.
I really, really want that. I didn't realize how badly I wanted that until this episode. I was like, this has to happen. Like, if not, I'm going to be very, very sad forever.
I didn't even have that thought until this episode.
I think after graduation, she'll probably go to college in Boston. And then
at Harvard Medical.
But that way she's graduated. She's adult. She's on her own. And then they could be together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think that in the future, when she's at med school and she's pregnant, I hope that Malik is the father there.
I think fingers crossed. I really think it will be.
Because the other reason is that there's no good reason to write Malik out of the show because he's such a good, solid person. Yeah. He's a genuinely good person. Don't take all the good people away.
Yeah. No, he has to stick around. He has to stay with Deja. So
and I liked his parents too. I kind of miss seeing his parents.
I know. I haven't seen them in a long time.
Maybe we will in the Senate race for Randall. But I think that this ending it there ending with Deja and Malik and Randall and Rebecca. I think that was a nice segue into going back to the ensemble filming. Like we're ending the trilogy now. We're officially done with the trilogy. Now we're going into everybody else. And I think that that's the montage after that, where they show her touching every box. Yeah. Was a nice ending to the trilogy, I think.
I did too. But like you said earlier, I would have liked to
see in the boxes.
I mean, at least like maybe one item in each box. Like maybe like she opened it and like took out kind of one thing and then like it flashed to that person. You know, I think because now I'm like, well, what's in their boxes? I got to see
Kevin's
one thing in
is
Randall's
a giant
box.
Folded poster of the Manny. Shirtless holding two babies.
No, I'm sure how many interviews and everything she probably has of Kevin's. Kate?
Probably her musical accomplishments recent music accomplishments.
Yeah.
I'm just really nosy by nature, so I have to know what's in the boxes.
That's a good band name, Nosy by Nature. Instead of Naughty by Nature.
Nosy by Nature. It does sound like a band. Whenever she's opening the boxes, like we were talking about, we see Kate's. And Kate this week, I like that we got a little bit of an excerpt. We got to see him a little bit. And they're coming home.
Yeah.
Kate, what happened with Kate? Oh,
she went
that's
back
when
to
she
the
tells
apartment.
She went, and she tells Toby that she's not gonna move to San Francisco.
She's not ready with the relationship where it's at. Well, the relationship where it's at because you're being a dummy.
But when he says the smoker, I was like, oh, there it is.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I want the answers, but then I'm not ready for everything to be over.
I know. As soon as he mentioned that smoker, I was like, my heart dropped. I was like, oh no, it's coming.
Yeah, as soon as he mentioned the smoker, I was like, oh yeah, that's still coming. Okay.
I was sad I wasn't on the Kate podcast because I had a lot of things to say. And I think that she is mostly in the wrong there. So for her to say, I'm not ready to move with the way things are, well, then you're really just thinking about yourself and not your children. And you're not thinking of your partner. And you're just being super selfish because the way you fix it is you get together, and you staying away is not how you fix it.
Yeah.
So I'm mad
really
at Kate.
I'm not really on one side or the other. I'm kind of Switzerland when it comes to them, but I will say if it was me, I would be moving to San Francisco because that's where my husband was. And I feel like Toby did make it, not to go back on last week's, but Toby made a compelling argument of why they should move there. And I think he's right.
I do too.
I mean, he's like, you're an assistant teacher. Like this.
He's thinking of the entire family as a unit.
Yeah.
And she's thinking of herself separately, then her kids separately, and then Toby separately.
Mm-hmm. She's comfortable where she is, and she doesn't want that comfort to change, no matter if Toby's there or not. I think she's used to Toby not being there anymore.
And Toby called her on that.
Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with it.
I think my problem is that she's saying, you know, with where our relationship is right now, it's like your relationship is where it is because of the distance.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not going to solve it with more distance.
But she's the love of his life, and she is just being so mean. And now that we know that the cooker, the smoker, whatever is the egg is coming next week.
Now we know it's coming.
I don't want it.
I'm so nervous.
Return it.
We have that. And then when she opens Kevin's box, his was a little bit more.
Did she open them?
No, she didn't open them, but
whenever,
whenever
she was touching them.
Yeah. So we see Kevin bringing home the twins. That was more uneventful to me. That was just him.
For the look on his face when Madison said, yeah, actually, I'm proud of you. And then he was looking at her as she walked away. I couldn't tell if that was because he's proud of himself or because he was like, I love Madison.
No, I think that was more like he's proud of himself. That's how I took it, at least.
Like confirmation that he's done good.
Yeah. I hope so.
That's how I took it. So next week is where we get to see it all start falling apart.
I don't want it.
I know.
Return the smoker. We don't. No one
needs 30 days.
Nothing good comes of a smoker or a crock pot.
Okay, I'll email Dan. Oh gosh. Oh, good job, Eve. That's a shirt.
If this is us
True.
taught us anything, it's those two
That's true.
big things.
Oh.
Okay, so we get to see where, unfortunately, everything starts to fall apart. I mean, we had hints before with grown-up Jack about how the smoker was, I forget how he put it, how it was the beginning of the end of his parents' marriage.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're going to be getting all of that. It looks like that's what it's all about next.
Yeah.
You know
And
what? I'm ready to get it over with.
And Maureen is just thrilled.
Toby's my guy.
Oh gosh.
I just want it over with. I want next week to just be like, please make it one episode and don't drag this out.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Watching that preview though, I went from because Rebecca was talking to little Jack about how mommy and daddy are fighting a lot.
Yeah.
And then I went straight from that to panic because apparently he walked off. I'm like, it's a blind 3-year-old. That is freaking terrifying.
It's absolutely true. However, he did have his walking stick, and Kate made a big deal about how she was training him how to get to the park. Good job, Kate. Glad you taught him.
Well, maybe now they at least know
or
where
maybe,
to go
maybe
first.
she won't be glad. Maybe she won't be glad she taught him.
That felt like an unfair dig.
This is probably gonna.
But
this is definitely gonna be in the end.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely where he's probably going, because it's the only place he really knows how to go is the park.
Yeah,
that's where she taught him. He's got his walking stick. He went to get it, and I like there was that scene, whoever's backyard, with Kevin and Rand on either side of Kate, and they're all holding hands, and she just looks devastated.
I love seeing that. Well, obviously I don't love seeing people devastated.
Yeah, but just the three of them together.
Because the three of the grown-up big three, like the adults, like they're always, at least two of them always seem to be at odds with each other. So it's always nice when you get to see the adults acting like siblings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Randall, even at one point that he's in the preview saying, you and Toby are going to make it through this. And that just felt like a knife in the gut. You don't know anything, Randall.
Shut up.
Have you seen the flash forwards?
Don't you know what's about to happen?
Can't you see into the future?
All right. So I guess we're going to see.
Like Toby and Rebecca were the ones who noticed that Jack was missing.
Yeah.
Because Kate came in and she's like, what happened? And Toby was like, we can't find her anywhere.
Yeah.
So next week,
all right,
it all falls apart. So we are going to say goodbye to Eve now, and we are going to say hello to Tiffany.
Hello, Tiffany.
As we transition from This Is Us to The Resident. So bye, Eve.
Bye.
Okay. So we are back with the episode of Resident this week, and it felt like when I was watching it, it felt like so long since I'd seen it.
I did. I had to remind myself what was going on.
I honestly don't even remember what happened in the last episode of Resident. It was weird. But we are on episode 16 called 6 Volts. And I gotta say, I wasn't a huge fan of this episode. There were parts that I liked, but I don't know. And the dialogue felt like so unnecessary in a lot of parts. So I'm gonna try to get past that.
I felt like it was because I felt like nothing happened. I feel like there was a bunch of stuff, but nothing happened.
Yeah.
It was kind of it felt like a filler episode, and I don't know why, but we didn't get a lot of Irving. We didn't get any Jessica. We
got Jessica.
I just felt like,
oh, not Jessica. Jessica Lucas.
Yeah.
Which is her real name.
Nurse
Not
Jessica.
her character name.
Nurse Jessica. I mean, we at least got more Devin than we've been getting, which I was very appreciative of.
For me, it just felt like a lot of the dialogue was more saying, less showing. And I don't like it. I don't like when it's a lot of, if you could show it, show it.
Yeah.
There's things that they said that we haven't even experienced, but they said that, yeah, I've been experiencing. So I don't know, it was a weird episode for me. There were things that happened I really, really liked about it, as there is with every episode of The Resident, because it's got Conrad Hawkins and Dr. Devin Pravesh. So I mean, there's always something to like in every single episode of The Resident. But this was a hard one for me to like. I was kind of bored. But I like that it started off with Kit and Belle. I love those two.
did. I liked seeing them.
Belle
Are they
is
living
ripped.
together?
Yeah, they're living together.
Okay.
But Belle is ripped.
I
Who knew
know.
that?
Hey.
I
Hey,
wasn't
Daddy
going
Belle.
there. No.
She does not want to see him in
No.
spandex.
I love that comment.
No, Daddy Bell.
No, stop saying
that
that.
ruins the fantasy.
Yes.
But we can tell he's having like a flare up with his
Yeah.
MS, which seeing him limp around, I didn't like.
I actually didn't notice it until
Oh,
like
see,
later
I
on.
did.
I
was like,
I mean,
oh.
I know when Kit pointed it out, I was like, oh, he was limping.
No, I
Super
noticed
observant.
it. I mean, but it was good acting.
Mhm.
It was good acting.
Very
So,
convincing.
the cane. Oh my gosh.
I'd
And
like
that's so
to,
like Belle. He's very stubborn and hard-headed, just
Yes.
like
I
that
know.
too.
He did not want to use that cane.
I like his reasoning though. First it was, I'm not giving into this disease. That would be giving in, and I'm not doing that. But then it translated later to first is the cane, next is diapers. Like, wow, that is a really quick procession for you.
That escalated quickly.
I mean, MS, he's like, he'll have flare ups. So like it'll get better and then bad and then better and then
Yeah.
bad, right?
If
So
he
it's not
sticks
like, I
with the
don't think like
medication
he needs to use the cane like for an
No, she just said until the flare up goes away.
yeah. And so I don't know. I like
But I
the
like that
cocaine.
they're
That part made me
paralleling
laugh.
that with he's having his MS flare up is in his legs, causing his mobility to be limited while he's fighting for this paraplegic whose mobility is obviously also limited. I
Yeah.
like that parallel.
And I like that they're keeping the storyline going.
Mhm.
I'm interested in it.
I like seeing Belle being the one to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm used to it being Conrad, but I like watching Belle fight for what's right. I really, really do.
I do too. I really do enjoy it.
Mhm.
But he's really, really trying to get at this board by Dr. Bosley.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he is going to make any movement anytime soon. Unless he gets this one guy that he's been trying to talk to. It's so corrupt.
Mhm.
It's so corrupt. Like, I mean, we all know the medical field is corrupt as is.
Yeah.
But this is just, and you know, this is how this happens in real life. And it's just so mind-boggling that there's people like this.
Yeah. I like what she said though, that there can be 100 good, most of the doctors are good, but there can be 100 good doctors and one bad doctor. And if the 100 don't do anything about the one, then you have 101 bad doctors. Super accurate. And I think that's a really excellent point and I think that's what Belle is trying to fix in the system.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, they said it's going to go to an investigation, but I mean, honestly, with how much they fought it, what's really going to be done there? And it just, Bella's in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it
He
sounded
really is.
like they made headway, and then the look that Belle had on his face afterwards, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe
Yeah.
they didn't make any headway. I'm not really sure. I was a little
Yeah.
confused there.
I think
Yeah, I don't think they have.
the fact that it'll go into an internal review, that'll show up on his record. So that's something that's a positive. But whether or not people will really care about that record or not, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you think whenever he brought her into this, that it would change something, but I don't know. It's like when he started walking, I was like, man, you're just going to pull this lady into for nothing. Like there's not going to, but I had a little bit of hope. I was trying to have a little bit of hope.
Well, they did do what she wanted to do, but I don't think that
Yeah.
the end result is going to be the end result that they want.
I don't either. I think they just did that to appease her. I don't think
to say, see, we do care about patients. See, we do put you first.
Exactly.
And I think that's what Belle was hoping for. And I think that's why he thought she could do it, because if she's in the room, then they can't be as cavalier about it as they are with all the doctors.
Yeah.
They should do that for like every case like this. They should see the patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
The person making the complaint in person and hear their side of the story. I don't know why it wouldn't be done that way. I mean,
right?
That seems like a crucial part.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of the review board is that when complaints come in from these patients, that you investigate the claim, but you can't investigate unless you talk to them. It's impossible to do that. But then they bring back, so Bell has a heavy storyline. He has this fight, which is really enjoyable to watch him go through. And I agree with Kit that it's very superhero-y, which is very eloquent. Kit.
I love that.
But she brings levity too, and I love that scene when he comes out of his office, and AJ and Conrad are standing there with canes. I love it.
Yes. Didn't they? Why did that look so hot?
I don't know, but it did.
I'm getting kind of concerned about myself at this point. Like, I feel like the only way that scene could have been any better is if Devin was holding a cane as well.
Yeah.
I can see it in my head. Never mind, I don't need it. I got it right here.
I fixed it.
I got it.
And I think one of my favorite lines was Conrad walking up to Belle saying, "You're my friend." Like,
I know.
When I first started watching the show, I did not suspect that.
No.
Although Conrad did say, "You're lucky you don't have cancer because I don't like you enough to shave my head." I have friends who shave my head for me. Their head for me. How dare you?
I didn't even.
But he did have a point when he said this was perfect. I mean,
that's yes.
You can't really argue with that when you look at him.
No.
Pretty close to it.
Except I feel like his hair is getting darker and darker.
It is.
It is.
He's super dark. I thought that today too.
I think they must be doing it gradually, like every episode, just a little bit darker. No one will notice. It's black now. What happened?
It's like you go from watching Gilmore to
That's
this.
exactly
like,
it.
Whoa.
But I feel like it got darker when they did the 3-year time jump.
Yeah, but why? Like what?
Yeah, I don't know why.
As he gets older, his hair doesn't get. See, Conrad is like superhuman. When normal people get older, they turn gray. When Conrad gets older, it just turns to like black. Then I like Belle's cane though. It had like a wolf on the end of it or something.
I know. I was gonna ask you guys what was on the end of his cane.
That's cool.
I think it was like a wolf. He's like, "I'm not gonna take this because you need it. I'm gonna take it because it's cool."
I loved it.
Keep telling yourself that, Belle.
That was hilarious. That was one of my favorite parts of the entire episode. Was seeing them through with that cane.
Yeah, right over there.
One of my other favorite parts of this whole episode was watching my man leap in front of a bus to save the strange Eliza woman.
Strange Eliza woman.
The strange Eliza
I was gonna
woman.
say strange woman, and then it did not flow. You guys know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I do.
I loved the storyline, by the way. It was so hard and deep and impactful.
Is that a real thing?
I don't
They did
know.
for her?
I mean, I would assume so, wouldn't it? Because I would assume so, but I don't know for a fact. I'm not a doctor.
Because if it is, I mean, to have results that quickly.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So I didn't know if it felt, but it's only if it's not a real thing. So I couldn't tell if it was like a fantastical thing that they created for the show, or if it was like a real thing. I don't know. I couldn't make up my mind about that.
Usually most of the things they do are pretty.
They're usually pretty spot on, I think.
Yeah.
They even have a resident on set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she had 1, 2, at
3?
least 2 in this episode, and she was brought in for a third.
Yeah,
Like,
so
when
that's
she
like
was brought in
third.
was 1, but we watched her have 2 other suicide attempts in this one episode. And it was how convincing she was when she was talking to Devin. And he's like, "I'm glad you agreed to the procedure." And she's just sitting there like, "Yeah, I'll feel better."
I could see her face and I was like, what?
Well, yeah, I know, it was
What is she
weird.
doing? And I didn't expect the rest. Like I was like, what? Like, did she swipe something from him and she took something?
Yeah,
like,
I thought she must have taken something, is what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I was like, I don't know what's
like
going on.
her eyes
here.
were like kind of starting to go back, and you're like, something's just not right with you.
Yeah.
I definitely knew something was happening. whenever he flipped that, I was like, oh, I wouldn't even thought to look there.
No, people should be glad I'm not their doctor. They would all die.
Oh, but we all need a Dr. Devin, huh?
And what he said, and it's not just what he says, it's that Manesh is a really good actor. And so when he delivers these lines that are really emotionally impactful, his face alters to fit the occasion. And when he looked at her and he said, I'm not giving up on you. I'm not letting you go. Which one did he say? I'm not giving up on you. I'm not letting you go. He said one of those. But his whole face and even his like body language contorted to back up that statement. And it was really, when he said it, like you felt it.
Yeah. Yep. You really do. I mean, this whole, actually, you know what? I really did like this. I did like the cases this week. I didn't really like it was kind of boring as the characters go, the character stories. We didn't really get a lot, but I really actually did enjoy, now that we're talking about it, I enjoyed watching Eliza's case, and I also enjoyed watching AJ's patient as well. So
I just felt like it was a lot of dialogue when it could have been shown instead of said, is what I felt like.
Yeah.
And usually it's a lot of the hallway scenes is what my biggest issues are with. More so than watching them actually do the procedures. Because like when they were actually doing the procedures with the patients, I that's the part, those are the parts I like.
It's interesting. Yeah. They can talk and you're interested.
Yeah. And that when that psychologist came in there, it was like I felt bad. And this, when we find out this woman's writing books on depression about falling in love with her depression, it's
right. She's
lived her entire life like I've been manic depressed. She lived her entire life like this. What? That's a horrible existence.
And it wasn't like your normal depression. I felt like either. It was
all encompassing, hopeless.
Oh,
it was like a hole. It was like a black hole.
I couldn't. I mean, I don't blame her.
Said, yeah, I mean, she said she never remembered feeling happy. I couldn't imagine never feeling happy.
Yeah, the two times she said was when she writes, and that morning when she was feeling the wind on her face when she was plummeting to her death.
Yep.
Just so sad.
But I love the outcome of this, of her finally feeling that happiness. Yeah. And she's like, is this what it feels like? That part I actually did tear up on.
Yeah.
I did tear up on that part. It was just like, oh.
Even like her stuttering over her lines. She's like, no, don't do anything. Don't change anything. That was, I don't know. Like I felt that in my bones. Like,
yeah. I mean, really bravo to the actress who played Eliza, because
she was beautiful too.
She was beautiful. She reminded me a lot of
I was trying to figure out who she reminded me of the whole episode.
It's her hair. It was like the Pulp Fiction hair.
Yeah.
Her face didn't really look like her too much, but that was the hair. That's why I felt like it kept reminding me of somebody. I think that's what I'm thinking. But I mean, just her deliverance of the entire role was bravo.
Yeah, really. Absolutely.
I love Devin's devotion. I mean, he did not know this woman from any other person.
No,
he literally stepped in front of a bus for her. I mean, you're not going to find a doctor that dedicated to his patient.
He's like that for every one of his patients. Although I do like that when he came into the ER, Irving was like, "Who are you?" And later on, Irving was
Conrad.
like, Irving was like, Devin filled that in. Conrad went, "Who?"
I loved it. Because I do miss him in the ER. I really do miss him. Like he needs to stop researching. It's not as exciting for the show. I'd rather him stay an ER doctor.
Yeah, I do because he's so dynamic. And did anyone else catch where Padma and Leela were? What they were doing?
No. Did I miss something?
Yeah, they're celebrating the egg exchange.
When did you see that?
Devin said it.
Did he? I missed that too.
Yeah. When Irving said, "What's Leela? Where's Leela today?" And he said, "Sister Day, celebrating the egg exchange."
How did I miss that?
Oh,
wow.
I watched the episode without playing on my phone.
I watched it twice.
Subtitles.
I use subtitles.
Oh, I don't know. Then your brain's going.
Oh, No, I turned them off this week because they kept going straight over their faces. It wouldn't go down to the bottom for some reason, and it was annoying
Mine
me.
was going over, like, I don't like in the game where it goes over the credits because then I can't read the subtitles anyways. What's the point? That was right around the time, well, it was the same scene, same exact dialogue, but it was right after that, or right before that, Devin had asked if he triggered Irving, and he's like, my dad left me at Yankee Stadium and got all the way home with my brother before he remembered that I was gone. Or noticed it was gone. And it was right after that he said, "Where's Leela?" And then he said it.
Okay, I remember that part. Like,
So
I remember
Leela has agreed to give Padma her eggs, or at least some eggs. I don't know, something.
You know what? Go for it, Padma.
I just think there are better ways to prove you're an adult than to try it with another living human being that you have to take care of and be fully responsible for. There are better ways.
Get a plant first.
Yes. Or a dog or a cat, something. I mean, not that dogs and cats have no value, but it's a human being.
I think she needs to live in a
Outside of a
building
van?
for just a little bit.
Yeah, in a building.
I mean, she needs to grow up a little bit first, I think, but
Well, this is how she's going to grow up, Amanda. She's going to have a baby and it's going to be magically better. Like, I like Padma, but I don't like the storyline.
I don't either.
And I don't like that Devin might be making a very, very big sacrifice that he doesn't want to make either. But we'll see. We'll see.
She's
Maybe he
gonna
doesn't
freeze
have
her
to.
eggs. I mean, that's
Maybe.
some hope, at least, I guess. It's not over. This discussion's not over. It can't
Better not be.
I don't think so.
Because that would not be fair to him at all. Again, no partnership.
Yeah. No, there's gonna be way more.
But I do think it should be noted that Billy is the one who did that surgery for Eliza.
Mm-hmm. Woohoo!
And it was nice to see her return.
Yes, I missed her. And I
Mhm.
was looking at her today because I watched the episode today.
I was looking at her today.
And her features, she's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I just saw, I could see the little freckles coming through on her cheeks this week. I was like, oh gosh, she's so beautiful.
Oh.
I just had to say that because I'm getting a girl crush on Billy. I usually don't have the hots for Billy, but I did this week.
She did look good this week.
She did.
I was glad we got to see Trevor again too.
Oh,
I miss both of them when they're not on there because none of us liked Trevor at first, but he's grown on me. I like him now.
yeah, but it sounds like he's not.
He's about to leave.
Yeah, I wonder if he's
Stop
leaving
taking
for
people we
good.
like away from us, TV shows.
Right?
But I wonder if
Ugh.
he's really leaving. But it sounded like he was pretty happy with his decision, and it sounded pretty final, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Maybe he'll
Yeah.
come back as a anesthesiologist or something.
I don't know, because I mean, also when he was at work, he didn't when he was out there, he didn't look very happy to be there. Really, when the guy was like, "You need to put your phone up."
Yeah.
He
Well, I
didn't
mean, he
look
was also
like he was
talking
that
to Billy
happy.
for the first time in who knows how long, though.
Oh, I know.
It was a phone call he dreaded, didn't want to make, and maybe that was why he looked unhappy. Because when he was talking to Billy about it, he looked very
looked
happy.
That's why I was confused. I was like, wait, I thought he didn't like the job. I thought it was some petty.
It was like Amazon or something, like some weird
Yeah, it looked like a
warehouse.
warehouse job. And then he said he's in research development.
Mhm.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I was like,
Because
oh,
You were working
What-
for UPS. But
Yes.
okay.
When the guy came out, he's like, cell phones in your locker. I'm like, what do they have to take pictures of it here? Like, what? Returned items. So I mean, I get now obviously why they can't have their phones in there because
yeah, it makes
the
sense
nature of
now,
their
but-
business. But I was completely, I don't even know why I didn't think of that.
I didn't
It
either.
was not even on my radar at all. I just thought, oh well, he's slumming it with some random warehouse job. That's weird.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was. I thought it was some meat because he was the way he was
It's
dressed.
true, yeah, because he had
I thought
that
he was
rubber apron on.
I had different, I had different thoughts. First, I thought he was working in a warehouse thing. And then I was like, well, he has the rubber thing on. So I think he's working with at a slaughterhouse. But then I was like, well, he's medical. So maybe because it looked cold in there. So I was like, maybe it's where they keep dead bodies.
So we find out he's working his sweet spot, he calls it. And I love the things that Billy said to him. Oh, she never wanted kids after that. And
How sweet
I
was
know.
that entire gazebo
Mhm.
conversation?
And it wasn't a fluff thing. It wasn't superficial. It was
No,
just really honest and really, really kind.
it felt so real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's a TV show, whatever, but it felt like such a real and deep moment. And I loved it because I feel like we haven't really gotten that with Billy and Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
The whole gazebo thing with Trevor. I mean, their entire conversation was just so heartwarming and felt, like I said earlier, so real.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever she said, "You're my son, nothing can ever change that, and I love you," and my eyes teared up. I was probably red. It was such a sweet moment when they hugged. And I felt like I was missing that all this time. And I'm like, no, you can't take him away now.
Right?
Find him another job.
That's how we know that someone's about to be taken away. It's because they have a really good moment and we are never going to see them again.
They're like, oh, let me make you love this person and then rip.
Let me make you hate this person first and then make you realize his redemption story and then make you like him and then we're going to take him away. Thanks a lot.
They need to stop trying to be Grace here.
But Billy really showed like her immense talent in this episode too.
She did. This was a very Billy heavy
3D imaging thing too. That was the other one. I was like, is that something that I don't think that's a real thing either.
That's what I didn't know, but I was so like,
cool.
It was cool, but it just like The Resident has been so good about being so based in reality.
Yeah.
That when they do stuff like this, I'm like, oh, I don't like that.
I'm like, is that real? I'm like, I'm sure it's like real, but I'm also probably sure it's not like at an Atlanta hospital that's now like a public hospital. Like, I don't think they would have that. Like, that part didn't seem real to me. I'm sure like in some prestigious, maybe 1 or 2 hospitals in the world, they might have this, or they might be trying to do something. I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
The writers will see this and like, excuse you, that is a very real thing and it happens all the time.
I'm sure. Well, then show me.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Take me on a personal tour.
Bring me out there. I want to see it.
Bring Matt.
And I want a personal tour from Manish and Matt. Both.
I mean, we don't really want to do it, but we'll make it work with our schedules.
And I'd like for you to pay for me to get out there. And room and board, please.
But again, we don't want to do it.
That's all I'm asking for. I don't feel like it's that big of an ask.
And I think Billy's the one who really got through to her.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I love it. So sweet.
With what did she say that when they say that I don't get the horseman thing with an alcoholic. I don't know what those two things have to do with it.
I know
the horse thief, when you take away or when you, I don't know, however she said it, but in the end, it's just a horse thief that's sober. So you're going to be the same thing. Like, what is that? Excuse me. I was an alcoholic. What does a horse thief have to do with an alcoholic? I don't understand the reference.
I thought
maybe it's a really old reference. I don't know, but I didn't get why the horse thief was in that situation.
I didn't understand it either. I mean, it went right over my head, and I was just like, all right.
You could be a bank robber or a banker or why? I don't understand. Okay. So I think that it was fun to see Billy shine a lot this episode, and because we missed her recently, I think that the last again, I don't really remember what happened in the last episode before this, but I don't think Billy was in it. I think Billy and Trevor were absent in it.
Wasn't that the mafia one?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's why I blocked it out. That was a Cade heavy one. Like, nope, that doesn't belong in my brain.
Oh, I miss Cade this week.
I didn't.
I did.
It felt lighter somehow. I don't know. Weird.
I really after that episode, actually, I liked her more. She's a good person. Now we know she's a good person because I know and I trust her. This is what Grey's Anatomy trained me for.
She's the one who chops up meat in the mortuary.
With Trevor. in the bodies.
Trevor could be lying to Billy.
I wonder.
He could, but
it could be. The thought did cross my mind
because he really did seem unhappy when he was there.
There was a lot of security there, and it like there was a lot of, I don't know, I guess I'll have to watch it again and see like what was in behind the plastic wrap, like what was in the boxes. If there was like any medical
Any
symbol on there or
clues?
anything.
Yeah.
Or even on his outfit. Like
We didn't pay. Yeah.
the fact that he had that guard over his, like he had the full mask, he had the gloves, he had everything from head to toe. It would, I mean, it could be what he said it was, because you can't get that stuff on your clothes when you're mixing that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and it makes sense that he can't have a cell phone in there. So I mean, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
He just didn't.
I really think his
happy.
unhappiness was that he had to make that call to Billy.
And yeah.
Because she probably sent him a lot of messages, left a lot of voicemails. She probably was, I mean, she told him that she was beside herself with worry.
And maybe he didn't want to call her until he was settled.
Yeah. And to tell her that he, I mean, not only like being a doctor, though, that's also where they saw each other all the time.
Yeah.
Working in the same hospital every day.
And I think he dreaded telling her he didn't want to be a doctor because I feel like he felt like it was going to disappoint her.
Yeah.
In some kind of way, which, as we saw, and you kind of know Billy, she wouldn't have been disappointed.
Yeah, but he didn't know that. I mean, he said the reason he wanted to be a doctor is because he wanted to be someone that she would love enough that she would regret giving up. Yeah,
and he knows that's not the thing anymore. So I'm glad he's going to be doing something. If he's not happy being a doctor, I'm glad he's getting out of it. I mean,
and he was, because I mean, you saw his face every time he had to let a patient go. Like it just killed him. He hated it.
Yeah. I didn't really like him as a doctor, so I'm not that upset.
I like Trevor though.
I like Trevor. I really do. But I really didn't like him that much as a doctor. I liked him more as a person than I did a doctor. I didn't really, he irritated me sometimes with his decisions and the way he acted superior a lot.
Well, he got better.
He didn't make the best choices either.
Yeah. It got better. It really, it got better.
He did get better.
He felt that people choosing not to live was a mistake no matter what. People refusing treatment was a mistake no matter what, and he couldn't get past that. I think that you have to get past that as a doctor. You have to learn how to when a patient says no, I don't want that, you have to learn to let it go.
And I don't think he would have.
Although Devin didn't let it go.
He did not this week.
He doesn't ever.
Yeah.
But he does it in a different way. He doesn't like, no, they're stupid, so I'm going to do this. They're wrong. It's, I want to help you. Let me help you.
Yeah. He just does it in a way that you don't even realize he's doing it.
Yeah. And we kind of saw that with AJ and Conrad this week too, with the pastor. And that was one that I felt was a little like the dialogue, like when he was walking down. First of all, we don't know who this pastor is. We've never seen him before.
I know. And I felt like I should have known him.
Yeah.
Yes. As friendly as they were and close as they seemed to him.
And the way everybody in the hospital knew him. I actually, at first I thought it was Micah. Do you remember Micah?
Yeah.
I thought that's who it was at first because he was a Christian. And I think he had a pastoral role of some sort, if I remember correctly. So I thought that's who it was, but it clearly was not Micah, first of all, because the dude's name is Aaron, but it doesn't look like Micah at all. But that was the only, that because of the way Conrad was acting, that was the only person I could think of that Conrad would have that reaction to who had that kind of faith. It was the only character we've been introduced to like that. But then when they were walking down the hallway and he's like, I've been hit with grief again. What? Where? We haven't seen that. Why are you just saying this? Why don't you show us that you're getting hit with it again? And so it's all the hallway scenes where they were just giving dialogue. So we have this new information that they wanted to work in when they should have showed us this new information. Yeah. I would have rather seen, I don't want to see Conrad cry, but I would rather see Conrad be crying somewhere or being really upset somewhere instead of just saying it.
Yeah.
Because it's
like I said earlier, I felt like there was a little bit like they were trying to put too much into one episode.
Yeah.
And it just felt it felt a little rushed. I won't say very rushed. It didn't feel very rushed to me, but it did feel a little bit rushed. And like we were giving a lot of, like with the Leela thing, I don't even remember it.
Yeah. I mean, I literally watched the episode twice and I missed that both times.
So it's like, I feel like they were maybe shoving too much information that wasn't pertaining to the scene at all.
And that would be why there was so much dialogue, because they were trying to do that. But I think that shows are better when they show, don't tell.
Yes.
And this show is usually really good about showing and not telling.
Yeah, I agree.
This particular case really upset me.
Can win
It
them
made
all.
me mad.
Yeah. And it's another one where there's not going to be any. So we're talking about Aaron, obviously, the pastor who had the calf put in and the stent put in his heart when he had no heart problems whatsoever. And what was that doctor's name? Pellington?
Yeah.
Pillington.
Not going to be any repercussions with him at all.
That's
But
insane.
I can't believe
everything
that
I did was legal.
Yeah. And AJ's like, that's a really low bar for a doctor.
Oh, I wanted to deck him.
But I was a little surprised that Conrad didn't pick up on what AJ was doing, because the moment AJ's like, I have some errands to run, obviously that's where you're going.
Clearly.
I think Conrad was like, all right, let him do it.
No, I think Conrad was like, okay, I'll see you later, Meg.
Ooh,
I don't think
AJ scared me though.
Yeah. I wish we would have seen like a wet spot up here and go down that doctor's leg is kind of what I was hoping for.
He was really, what's the word I'm looking for?
Inept?
Intimidating?
Intimidating, that's a good one.
Oh, we're talking about AJ. I thought we were talking about Pellington.
Yes. No, when he stood up and confronted him, it's like, ooh, hello.
Yeah. I mean, I went, okay, yes, sir. That was a yes, sir moment.
I like that AJ was smart enough to ask to see the EKG before he gave himself away.
Yep.
Of course, we know AJ is brilliant, but it was. I like that he pulled it out that way.
I thought he was going to stretch it a little bit longer, to be honest.
I did too.
I was going to say, I was like,
He was
how far is he going to take this?
He's going to be on the operating table and he's just going to sit up. Wait. No one touches my heart but these hands.
Own heart surgery.
Yeah.
Picturing him.
You can see it.
I can.
Doing it. He's got a monitor right above his head as he's doing it.
It's gonna be like one of those what really ridiculous medical shows that like do stuff that is stupid. I'm trying to think of an example right now. I mean, there's only like one or two. I watch a lot of medical shows.
I know you do.
So I'm trying to think of like, well, I can't think of one in particular. I'm not going to keep it going because we're going to sit here all night.
I really like the way you described it is one of those really bad medical shows that does something stupid.
Well, like, yeah, they will. They'd be like, oh, I don't know. I can't even think of an example right now, but yeah, like, I'm going to do my own heart surgery. Like some of these arrogant doctors, like I could see AJ attempting to do his own heart surgery.
It's in my head now. It's not going anywhere.
Like, who would do heart surgery on AJ?
I think you would let Billy. No, she's a neurosurgeon. She's not cardiothoracic at all, or cardiovascular.
So who would do surgery on AJ?
He'd call Kane back.
Ooh.
Hey, AJ's not going to have heart failure. Why are we planning this surgery out?
Was it Mina cardio?
Yeah, I think so.
Mina could come back.
She could.
Okay, he doesn't even need heart surgery. Like what? Why am I here?
I don't know. I tried to pull you off the string.
I'm stuck on it apparently.
So this guy, this pastor, and like it kind of made me sad, but he's like, we do outreach in our church. I was trying to set a good example and go, like, that's not outreach.
I know. And he never needed
Going to a cardiologist is not outreach. And it shouldn't be. And I need to say that because that's not accurate for our church thing at all. In any way. That's not how it works.
No. I can't see that going over very well.
But how scarred is Conrad going to be when he said, we're in the business of you right now. And as Conrad is telling him all about it, this guy goes into like failure.
Yeah.
Conrad's never going to talk about his feelings again.
I felt like something was going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen right then. So it was a shocking, like, oh, okay, we're doing this now.
It happened fast too.
It did.
Yeah, he suddenly had no pulse.
Yeah, it was extremely quick.
I actually thought they were going to let him die.
Yeah, I
did too. And then I was like, man, if this guy dies, the rest of the season, I feel like is going to be.
It would have been AJ and Conrad fighting that cardiologist.
Yeah.
Which is what
And-
that's the direction I thought they were going to go.
I honestly, it did pass through my mind a few times. I was like, oh man, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't like when they get stuck on like one storyline. That bothers me on The
Yeah.
Resident. It doesn't on every show, but The Resident, I like him to move fast.
Well, it depends because like here's the thing though, they introduce this character that we're never going to see again, but
Yeah.
they introduce the character to introduce another storyline where it's a corrupt doctor, and we already know Belle is working with corrupt doctors, so like it feels
does
like they're
tie
trying
in.
to tie it all together. So
Yeah.
that this can be a fight that they continue with, but then he lived, and it's nothing's gonna. And they even said in the episode, nothing is gonna come of it. I talked to Belle, nothing's gonna come of it. So why introduce this very, very big problem and then say, but we're not gonna solve it?
I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll come back, and
Maybe it's a little bit of reality, but I mean, I don't watch TV for reality.
we
Except for
try
when it comes
escape
to what you're doing medically. Because clearly I want all my medical devices to be completely real.
Yeah.
So I think that, I mean, this wasn't a bad episode. I don't think there are really bad episodes of The Resident. They're just ones that are not up to what my standard that they have set for me. So I don't think it was bad, but I think that next week looks like there's a lot more action, which I prefer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It also has kids in it, which I don't.
I don't like seeing kids get hurt. That's why I had to stop watching Law and Order SVU, because I couldn't do it.
We get to see Gigi again. She's with the
I was gonna ask, in the preview, is it the little boy who's in the room with her in that star
Yep.
room? Oh, okay. I couldn't tell if it was it because he had that like netting, and so I actually thought it was Eliza because they have like the netting on the head, so I wasn't sure it was a little boy or her.
yeah,
keep
it's the
going.
little boy. Some sort of brain swelling he has, which doesn't sound good.
No.
I don't like seeing kids have to be operated on. I don't like it.
No.
Yeah, but he's gonna be all fine.
It makes it
They're gonna
good.
cure him. And it's
Yeah,
all gonna be
Conrad's
happy.
gonna fix him.
Yeah, it's okay. Conrad can fix everybody.
It's like I don't like it because it makes me
Except for
filled with anxiety, but the action of it is good TV.
Yeah,
Just
It looks like it's gonna be a good episode.
mhm.
of course it is. Is my Cade gonna be back?
No, she's never coming back.
She is. And her and Conrad are gonna be happy.
Conrad told her to get out.
No. You're gonna fall in love with Cade. One of these days you're
Prove
gonna
it.
fall in love with her. I'm gonna make you fall in love with her.
Not after she killed Nick and shot people up in a mortuary.
With Trevor. We can write our own show.
Don't we?
I think that's what we do every week. We just write our own episodes.
I like how genuinely confused everybody gets every time I say she killed Nick.
Like, how did you get there?
I didn't. Someone else said it, and I jumped on that bandwagon. Pretty sure it was Eve who said that. What if she's the one? What if she hit Nick and she was the driver who hit Nick?
I think that might have been me.
Will you? So it's your bandwagon I jumped on. You put that in my head.
Or was it me? I was on that episode at least. I can't remember if that was me because I know I had the thought of like, I wonder if that's like her secret she's keeping is that because because she was like kind of obsessed with knowing
Conrad.
about Nick
Mm-hmm.
and Conrad. Well, she was obsessed with knowing Conrad, and then she was starting to ask about Nick, and I was like, yeah, there you go. That's how I got to that.
I don't know, but it just made a whole lot of sense to me.
I guess we'll see. I think she's good. I think she's going to turn out to be amazing, and we're all going to love her.
Even if we don't see her, we do see some other fun guests. next week.
Woohoo!
Vicki Lawrence.
Like Vicki
I'm
Lawrence,
excited.
Mama.
I love Vicki Lawrence.
See, I loved her.
Mama.
Yes, Dear is a show my husband and I used to watch together all the time. My parents would watch it too. So that's what I know her from. Mostly, I do know her from the Carol Burnett thing too. But she's I love her.
That show, Mama's Family. Yes, dear.
So she
No,
passed
it's
out
not.
in this preview with a whole bunch of pills in her purse,
Ooh.
like a lot of pills dumped out of her purse. And then she said, "I can't leave him," and that was all we saw. And we saw her husband kiss her. I think.
Uh-oh.
So we got Gigi gets a new little friend. We see Vicki Lawrence. We see Conrad. Belle is the one who is talking to Vicki Lawrence too.
Ooh. Nice.
He was in the
I'm
room.
excited.
So. Next week looks like it's gonna be a jam-packed episode. Lots of fun, lots of action. Is there anything else from us on the preview? Tiffany?
I don't think so.
Sorry, I didn't know you were talking to me.
It was a short. It was a short one.
Okay. Well, I think that is it. I think we hit everything, and I mean, there weren't a lot of subjects. It was long episodes, but just a couple of subjects. So I think we covered it all. And next week you're gonna get, so tonight, if you have not watched our 911 episode, jump on over that, because we have a 911 episode that also came out today. It's 911 and 911 Lone Star. So you can watch that. Wednesdays are Grays and Station 19 podcast. And next Sunday, again, we got another 911 episode. And This Is Us, the rest of the episode coming at you. And you can tune into our Facebook group of This Is Us, Pearson Family Fan Club, or the Resident Chastain Family Fan Club for some more discussion. The This Is Us group has a ton of discussions on there. Just remember to be kind and respectful. But we'd love for you to join the conversation over there. And on the Resident too. The Resident hasn't been talking a whole lot. So let's get some conversations going there about what's coming down the pike for the Residents. And
it's been quiet these last few weeks. Let's get some more conversations going.
So on that note, we'll see you in a week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So if you guys want to find us on Facebook, all you have to do is search in Facebook for Family Fan Club. All 15, I said 15 of our groups are going to pop up for you. You want a specific group, you can always go check out our podcast pages. We will have our groups listed in there. And you can find us on any of our social media, which is Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, as Fandom Family Chats. And we are constantly trying to get you fun content. Jeanette is our TikTok wizard, trying to get you fun videos there. Usually has a lot of dudes on there, so there's that for you. We have our Twitter and Instagram is not as active as we'd like it to be, and we're working on that, but still, if you have any questions for us, if you want to get involved with what we're doing, if you want to know more about what we do, or maybe some interviews we have coming down the pike, you can hit us up on any of those resources, or you can email us at familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. We check that almost religiously, so reach out to us there and we'll get back to you. Watch out for our website coming soon. We're going to have some merch available for you if you'd like to wear some of our show merchandise for family fan clubs and Fandom Family Chats, as well as we're going to make some FFC merch for some of the shows we run, like Teen Wolf or Vampire Diaries. We're going to have some fun things for you there. So watch out for that. Keep an eye out for that. And if you are able to, look at our YouTube page, subscribe to that, and keep an eye on our Facebook page. We have Fandom Family Chats. We're going to be making some announcements here in the near future about a big, huge event we've got coming down the pike in June of 2023. So, watch out for that. Get ready to listen to some crazy stuff next week again, and we'll see you real soon.